Okay, now the next two sections get into solving variables without any numbers in them. No numbers, it's all letters. So it's like without finding a solution, there's not going to be like a number answer. So example, P equals A plus B plus C. There's no numbers there. And we're going to say solve for B. Now, if there were numbers there, we would know how to do this, right? Because you would do 2 plus 7. Just as an example on the board, right? And then you would subtract 9. And you get an answer. B equals 1, right? If it was 10 equals 2 plus B plus 7. You're doing the same thing. You're still subtracting. But you just can't combine the like terms. I still want to get B by itself. So if I subtract A from both sides, the right-hand side, I get a 0 because it cancels. But I have to now write this as P minus A. Because letters don't go together, right? It's the same thing as writing that. I just didn't put them together. Then the next thing I would do is subtract C. But now that doesn't go together with any of them, so I have to write P minus A minus C. And that's my answer. They are literally looking for B equals, and you're going to enter in P minus A minus C. That is the part that you type in right there. Which, by the way, my example on the board, it still works, right? Because you're just doing 10 minus 2 minus 7 equals B. Well, you know, math's kind of crazy. I just didn't do the subtraction. Okay, I'm going to do the other one, but I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I'm going to say, okay, it says let F equal 40. So this is how you change from Celsius to Fahrenheit. And, well, what do you do if F is equal to 40? Plug that in. All right, then do your same algebra. 40 minus 32 is going to be 8. 5 times 8 is 40, and then divided by 9. I think you can leave it as a fraction in this particular section. Questions or comments? Let's do another one. Look at this one. Did you see it in there? Yeah. Boyle's law. Pressure times volume. It's some sort of chemistry. Too much. But like the more pressure you put on the food, the faster it cooks, right? That's what this is. But anyway, all you have to do is P by itself.
Just divide P, they want the answer like literally K over B.
That's right. You want a fraction with variables.
So you literally just basically show what you're going to do.
Yep. Divide both sides by V. V over V we know is 1. So P equals K over V. And that's how you enter the answer. Solve for R in the simple interest formula. Okay, ideas on this one? Divide both sides by P and T is exactly right, yeah. We could even do it at the same time.
So it would literally be R equals I over QK.
Exactly.
So you gotta do them both at the same time.
Yeah. I want to say I remember a rectangle question being in there.
Yeah.
All right? So the area of a rectangle is the length times the width. And the perimeter of a rectangle is add up all the sides. 2L plus 2W. Just plug in your numbers, okay? The length is 16. The width is 10. 10 times 16, right to the calculator. 160. The perimeter, the length is 16, so P is going to be 2 times 16 plus 2 times the width, which is 10, and that will be 32 plus 20, which is 52 inches. So let's, using the formula, plugging in some numbers. All right. The last part of it deals with inequalities. Okay, so hang in there. They're going to throw some like what's called interval notation at you. And we got to be able to graph inequalities on a number line. First, there's a rule. If you divide or multiply by a negative, you need to switch the inequality, I'll put arrow. It will happen with one of them, but not with the other. Same rules apply. Get x by itself. Divide by -3 on both sides. You guys are really excited to be here tonight, I can tell. It's great. Okay, see how it's a negative? So switch the arrow. And I'm going to write it as greater than or equal to -8. You are going to have to be able to write the answer. Remember, we can't write x equals, or x is greater than, or x is less than. We have to write it in notation. So this one is going to be from -infinity to -8. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. It goes the other way. I'm going to write it from -8 to +infinity with a bracket and a parentheses. And that is the way you are supposed to write that answer. Okay, so let me break it down. First, I'm going to put it on a number line, right? Let's see. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's -8. Remember that, I think we did this before, but if it's a greater than or equal to, it's a closed circle. Now read from the x. It says x is greater than or equal to -8. So like -7, -6, -5, all those are greater than that, which means that the graph goes this way.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
They throw like stuff that should take a whole class. They kind of throw it in there in like 2, 3, 4 problems. So where do I start? Okay, the number line goes on forever. If you take a number line and go all the way to the right, this is going to be +infinity. Okay, the symbol is a figure 8. Sideways figure 8, right? Never seen that before?
I feel like every girl has that tattoo on their body.
Would you like to see my infinity sign?
He's gonna.
Goes on forever. All right? So it starts at -8 and goes all the way forever to like 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 100 million. Goes on forever. So infinity will never end. That means we have to put a parentheses. Parentheses means it is excluded. On the other hand, the bracket means included. Zero is greater than -8. 1 is greater than -8. 2 is greater than -8. -7 is greater than -8. As soon as you get to the other side, where I haven't drawn the line, you get false statements. -10 is not greater than -8. So we are graphing in every single solution along the line.
There's going to be a lot of problems.
There are a couple problems like this, yeah. Okay. Well, let's do another one. It's like you have to learn by example. Number 1, solve it. X is less than 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay, interval notation. Maybe I'll flip it. Let's graph it first. So here's 0, -1, -2, up to 5. This says x is less than 2. So the 2 itself is not going to be included, which means it's going to be an open circle. Where will the number line point to? Will it go to the left towards -infinity or to the right towards positive infinity? The inequality says x is less than 2. So 1 is an answer, 0 is an answer, -5 is an answer. That means it's got to point to the left. Right. So on the left side is -infinity. On the right side, it doesn't go to 5, 6, 7 because 5's not greater than 5's not less than 2, 10's not less than 2. So it stops at 2. But instead of putting a bracket, I'm going to put a parentheses on it. Okay, so I'm going to write a note, but it's because there's no less than or equal to.
So if there was less than equal to, you put the bracket next to the 2?
Yes, exactly. Okay. So less than, greater than means use parenthesis. That's the answer that they're looking for, interval notation. And you're going to have to point out the graph that works. So it's like going to give you, okay, negative infinity with parentheses up to 2 parentheses, what does the graph look like? And you have to be able to like select this. Multiple choice. Parentheses, bracket. One more. Maybe 2. Depending on if we feel good. Two x plus 4 is greater than 20. Think about what you would do for maybe a minute. Plus 8. X is greater than 6. Everything's good except for this.
Okay.
Because x is greater than, so the line's going to point to the right. So it's going to go from 6 to positive infinity.
But I still don't get the bracket because it's not the equal to.
Correct. 2x plus 8 is greater than 20. Next step, subtract 8. 2x is greater than 12. Next step, divide by 2. X is greater than 6. Okay, let me do number line first. I kind of like that. First, it's not equal to, which means it's going to be an open circle or parentheses. Does it go to the right or to the left?
Right.
7's an answer, 8's an answer, 10's an answer. So x is greater than 6. It's going to go to the right.
And then
Open circle is the same thing as parentheses. So it's like that. Interval notation. It starts at 6, goes to the right to positive infinity. Infinity always has a parentheses, by the way. Okay, so it's got to be like that right there.
why isn't it closed? That's the only thing I'm like, just think of like that.
Okay. Why is the...
Because there's no, yeah,
Because it's not this.
yeah.
Yeah. Whenever the line's on the bottom, it's going to be a bracket. And it's going to be closed. That's it. Should I do the next one? Okay. Tell you what, I'll give you another minute. Give it a shot. Mhm.
determine like if it's infinity, comma 6? Like,
Okay, good. By the direction of the arrow, or really two things. Maybe this will help. Okay, so if x is greater than 6, it's going to be open circle to the right. The difference here, it's going to be closed circle to the right. Here's positive infinity. Here's negative infinity. This one will be open circle to the left. This one will be closed circle to the left.
that makes sense.
All right? So every time you go to the left, it's going to be negative infinity to 6.
Got it.
This one would be negative infinity to 6 parentheses. This one would be bracket 6 to positive infinity. This one would be parentheses 6 to positive infinity. Okay, those are all your choices.
I stopped there too because I didn't know.
Okay, let's take a look at this. Infinity always has a parenthesis. This is going to start at negative 1/6 and go to the right. So all the math is correct, but we got to check our interval notation, all right? So here we go, -3. You will get a fraction in the upcoming test, by the way. Divide by 6. So now this is x is greater than or equal to negative 1/6. So it's like kind of like maybe 0, 1, -1, -2. So it's kind of like right about here. Greater than or equal to. So open circle or closed circle. Closed, because it's like these two. Now does it go right or left?
Right.
Goes right, because it's greater than. X is greater than. So it's got to go to the right to positive infinity. So that means it's going to start at 1/6, negative 1/6. So it's got to be a bracket because it's equal to positive infinity. Infinity never has a bracket. That's your answer right there.
Wait, so my bracket was fine, I just had to flip.
Yes, yeah. You have to, if you're going to positive infinity, you have to put that on the right. Positive infinity is on the right. Negative infinity is the one on the left. Good. Other questions?